What's this? Schedule 1 is a problem. Yeah, because it's a great fucking game. That's the only problem I wanted to be hearing. It's a problem to AAA developers. That's what it is.
Have you guys noticed how increasingly
Shout out legendary drops. Always come with some Iron Maiden t-shirts, bro. And you know I love Iron Maiden. They're my favorite band. Iron Maiden are the fucking greatest.
more common it's becoming for some of these indie games to come out of left field and just absolutely decimate? I'm talking player numbers and sales that are embarrassing AAA
Big facts.
games. Games made by one guy beating teams of 1,000 developers, tens
Love to see it.
of thousands if we're going to count
love to
Ubisoft in
see
this
it.
conversation. Well,
True.
Probably not for long, but Schedule
True.
1 is a game about friendship. It's about making connections. It's about starting from the bottom and working your way up. It's a game about drugs. It's a game about drugs, which makes it all
is.
the more ironic for how addicting the game is to play. But I'm seeing
Yeah.
this game all over the place. It's on Twitter, it's on Reddit, it's on YouTube, it's on Twitch. My buddy who just got his first gaming PC opens up Steam for the first time, and it's the first game that he buys. Games like
It's taken everyone by storm. It's an amazing game, man. Amazing game.
Schedule 1 are becoming a
AAA companies need to take a leaf from young boy Tyler. I'm assuming he's young. Or the one guy, Tyler.
problem. Because these games are beating out games that are spending hundreds of millions of dollars to make their games. They're doing it without any marketing. And worst of all, they're cutting out the middleman. You can't
That's right.
have that.
Yeah.
Because once you start doing those kind of things, when you have that kind of freedom to create and you're reaching that kind of success, you're going to start to attract some unwanted attention. And that's
Why is that?
exactly where Schedule 1 is today.
Well, that's the only unwanted attention is from competition. Is that you're showing up. You're showing up the competition. You're saying you go and look. They've got massive companies, been running for years with thousands of employees, and I'm cooking them just me alone. That's the only thing that you're doing. You're actually showing them how it's done, and they're upset about that. The people are not upset, and the people fully support you. So let them cry, weep, get good. GG, easy.
So today what I want to do is I want to talk about the insane success of Schedule 1, my experience playing it, and
Yeah.
why an industry that's ran by investors can't let games like this exist.
Fucking unbelievable, you fucking investing bastards. Go look after your daughter.
Schedule 1
She's not fucking doing OnlyFans, love.
released 2 weeks ago, and within days it had already climbed the Steam charts. As of recording this video, it is #1 top seller on Steam. It is #4 for concurrent players.
Killing
and it
it.
recently hit a peak of over 450,000 concurrent
That's
players.
crazy.
Now averaging 340,000 concurrent players per day. It's currently
Mad.
outperforming Path of Exile, which just released new content, edging out Monster Hunter Wilds
Damn.
after its first title update, and it's completely humiliating the quadruple A spectacle that is Assassin's Creed
Forget Ubisoft shit.
Shadows. Schedule 1 is another entry in what is becoming an increasingly common trend. Indie developers releasing games with little to no marketing and watching them explode across the internet. Think
Yeah.
Undertale, Stardew Valley, Vampire Survivors, Valheim, Palworld, Balatro. Games made by a single developer or a tiny team delivering exactly what players have been missing and absolutely dominating the charts. The game was developed by Tyler, an independent developer out of Sydney, Australia, working under the name
Amazing.
Tyler's Video Game Studio. I
Fucking
laugh every
amazing.
single time I read that.
Simple, effective.
Tyler handled nearly every aspect of the game himself, designing the game, programming it, systems, and the art, but he had some help with collaborators like Kay Sewell, who's the one that composed the game's catchy soundtrack. Seriously, I've been jamming that music in the background while I've been writing now.
Dope
and
music.
Cody, too, who created some of the game's graffiti. Now,
Okay, there's another guy with the graffiti. Okay, cool.
despite its niche, the game has resonated with an enormous audience, and I think part of that has to do with the genre. Schedule 1, at its core, is just a crafting sim. You start with nothing
Yeah.
and you work your way up through
The gameplay loop is immense. I love it. And I'll keep talking about it. The loop is just amazing. It's so addictive.
progressively more complex crafting systems, increasing your wealth, unlocking more neighborhoods, and expanding your influence. It's a familiar loop, or one that I've definitely hooked myself on quite a lot with games like Terraria, Valheim, Enshrouded, or Minecraft, but Schedule 1's twist is the plot. You're essentially a small-time dealer growing your own product, refining it, selling it, and building out a crew to be able to help you scale out. I've personally
Yep.
sunk over 50 hours into the game now, and I've nearly unlocked everything short of the final neighborhood. And I'm completely sold. I keep playing the game
Sick,
every chance
man.
that I get. I love games like this,
Countless
open-ended
hours.
crafting sims where you get to define the pace yourself,
Yeah, build the empire. It's brilliant.
experiment with systems, and you get to feel like your time that you're investing into the game directly translates to actual growth within that game. You can be methodical, you can
Look
squeeze
at this
every
guy.
little bit of value out of all of your
Chloe.
resources, or you can brute force your way through, scaling up as fast as possible. Hell, you can even automate the entire process so the game basically just plays itself. It's up to you. Don't laugh at me for getting technical, but what I think makes this game really special is how seamlessly it transitions between its two core gameplay loops, production and social progression. The first loop, growing and crafting, is simple at first. Plant a seed, water it, harvest the flower, but over time you start to get access to additives, fertilizers, environmental controls, and scalable infrastructure. Every plant
Yeah, it just gets deeper and deeper, and you find yourself busy doing a lot of stuff. It's so fucking addictive.
that
It's
has its
wicked.
own unique traits, cost, potency, NPC demand. Then comes in the mixing
My
system,
man's out here mixing up cocaine and all of that with a golden skateboard. This shit's cold.
where you can start to enhance products with different effects, like making NPCs shoot out lightning, walk around on clouds, or turn them into
Damn.
aliens or zombies. It's ridiculous, but it serves a purpose to increase the product's price and its appeal to your customers. I
Yeah.
found myself lost here for hours experimenting with different mixtures and different
Sick.
orders of those mixtures and different effects that they could have, and now I have an 8-buff recipe completely automated, and it's listing the product for over $1,000. That
Damn.
feels good.
Baller.
Which then that brings me to the game's second loop, networking. And as your operation grows, you start to target different specific NPCs based on their preferences. You start to build rapport, earn trust, unlock new customers, recruit new
Yeah.
crew members, and eventually get
Ultra cake. Damn.
access to new suppliers. They're going to boost your overall operation. It's a system that blends an emergent strategy with good old-fashioned trial and error, and it's surprisingly deep. Look, I'll be honest with you guys, I completely assumed that this game's popularity was mostly due to its shock value. It's not every day that
Same
you see a
at
game
first.
about selling powder and flour to cartoon NPCs become a top
Yeah.
seller, but the longer I played, the more I realized how satisfying all of
understand.
its core systems really are. It's not just the subject matter, it's how involved you are in the process. And honestly,
Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot
It's just so fun. It's just simply fun and it's charming. The art style's cute. It's wicked, man. It's great. Give it a try if you haven't, man.
of modern games have largely forgotten. In a lot of ways, the game actually reminds me of all the things that I really loved about
Kingdom Come, another one of my babies. I love this game. I've been banging it out lately. Shit.
Kingdom Come
great.
Deliverance, which is a crazy comparison to make when you think about it, but when you're crafting a potion in that game, you're
It's
picking
deep.
the herbs, you're grinding them manually,
Yeah.
you're boiling them, you're maximizing your yield based on real input, you're smithing
True.
swords with a hammer and timing it perfectly, you're
Yep.
controlling the temperature, you're properly sharpening weapons. This game makes you feel like you're doing that sort of work. Schedule 1, despite its goofy presentation, accomplishes something very similar here. You're adding ingredients, you're testing combinations, you're watching the effects, packaging your own product, and you're hitting the streets to make sales. The feedback loop is immediate and immersive, and it's not about watching a progress bar, it's about feeling like you're actually earning something by doing it. And it never loses its charm. The art style is crude in a deliberate way, full of absurd and
Yeah, it's
surreal-looking
nice though. I love it.
NPCs with exaggerated animations. You're hiding in dumpsters. The game's fastest vehicle is a golden skateboard, and you're
True.
brewing concoctions that warp the laws of nature itself. But underneath all of that madness is a tight, responsive, and deeply satisfying
This guy's got a serious operation going on over here, bro.
gameplay loop. You're laughing 1 minute, and you're planning your expansion strategy the next. I love that every system feeds into one another. Want to automate your production? Well, you're going to need to build out, buy some infrastructure, and hire some employees. Want to scale up quickly? Well, you're going to need to build rep with your suppliers to be able to make more product. Want to maximize your profit? Well, you're going to need to mix with precision and cater to customer demand. Yet, at the exact same time, you can ignore all of that if you want. But if you want to dive in, you're rewarded for
It's
it.
right there,
There's a
yeah.
surprising amount of freedom
Go at your own pace, do your own style. It could just be weird if you want. Local people. Depends how you want your fun.
in how you approach everything. You can have your crew push
Move up to crack and cocaine, fucking bit of meth. It's all going on.
your product while you're the one that's focusing on crafting. You can work solo and micromanage every step. You can run your empire in real time during the day and then focus on restocking and production at night. The game never really forces you into one particular play style, but everything feels intuitive enough that you always feel like you're making some sort of progress.
Yeah.
I think what Schedule 1 proves yet
It's
again
great,
in this
man.
case, especially
Really
when it
fun.
comes to these indie games, is that the gap between indie and AAA has never been wider. I mean, I never take the time to analyze or
Yeah.
even notice these kind of things if they even exist in AAA games. Their
Give me that money, Benji.
games are so bloated, overproduced, obsessed with cutscenes.
Yeah, I mean, they got to cut that out. Look what Tyler's done. It's all about gameplay, man. It's all about gameplay. You get that great gameplay loop. You get that great little charming feel. You're in, man. The people will support you to the end.
And cinematic presentation, often to the detriment of
Don't
the
care
actual
about extra
experience.
shit.
Schedule 1 is the opposite.
Yeah.
And I love games like this. So do the players. That's obvious enough. It's
Yeah.
lean, it's focused, it's gameplay first, and it works because it never forgets what players are actually here for, to play. Schedule 1 only costs $20. It delivers potentially hundreds of hours of content, strong systems, tons of replay value, and a surprising amount of multiplayer depth. It didn't need a cinematic trailer. It didn't need a live action ad campaign. It didn't need pre-order
Nope.
bonuses or
None
influencer
of that.
hype. It just needed to be good, and that was enough.
He failed on that jump there, innit? Fuck, he hit the curb.
This is going to sound ridiculous. I'm trying to think of the best way to be able to explain it. The graffiti on the wall is oddly relatable.
100%. 100%.
Makes me feel
I loved it when I saw that cock one. No homo. But it was like, yeah, something someone would do.
like one of my friends could have made this game. And
Yeah.
I think that has something to do with the game.
It's the relatability. It is 100% relatability. You can smoke together. It's funny, man. It's great. I can keep saying it. That's all I can keep saying. It's just great.
Popularity.
Give me
Because
1 second.
the inside jokes, the naming of the different products that you can put into stuff, the naming of the product that comes out in the end. I got the whole block hooked on Gorilla Smeg. Like, fucking hilarious, dude. And that's endearing. You want to see that. You see yourself in the game, and you feel like you can relate to the person who made it. I don't feel that way with a lot of games, and I haven't for a long time. And I think that's an incredibly important connection to be able to make. It's one of the intangibles of game design where you feel like your humor, imagination, your interests are shared by the people that made it. You feel vindicated in that. Like you have something in common. And it's called being in touch with your audience. And I think just about anybody can say that this industry has been way out of touch with its audience for a long time. And I've played a lot of games since starting this channel. And at this point, I'm starting to feel like these game developers live in an alternate universe. Nothing feels relatable to me. Everything has to
He's
be a
100%
tangent to what's
right.
going on in the real world.
He's 100% right. With the relatability thing, it's so important. It's so important to people and how they relate. You know, how their relationship with it, with the product or with the game or with whatever. The relatability is important to have. And yeah, he's right. It seems like we're out of touch with relatability. They're creating a gap.
Everything has to have a deeper message. Not everything needs to be like that. It's just not necessary. $20. Another $20 game goes on to sell millions of copies, making
Killing
a
it.
solo developer a millionaire overnight. You know, when this game released and it immediately started to find some popularity, the developer went and put the game on sale. Who does that?
A legend. That's who does that. A pure legend.
Somebody that wants to make money.
Yeah.
Somebody that knows what you need to do.
Yeah. He's right.
Make a fun game. Make
Fun.
it fairly priced. People buy it. Crazy concept, I know. This
I
isn't
know.
rocket science. How many times have I seen these developers that are basically trying to learn astrology to figure out what players want? Maybe if we read their horoscopes. Then you have a game.
Yeah, he's right. What are they? Are they even human, these developers? First of all, we need human developers. The relatability will come naturally. Fuck's sake.
That makes it where you can put horse glaze and chili powder into something to set somebody's hair on fire and give them a long face. Monkey brain like. Me like game. Me give money.
True.
It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. But that scares these C-suite executives because they don't understand the popularity, the virality,
They're like hiring whole teams to figure out why people like certain things. They're not human.
relatability of these games because they can't reproduce it. They can't crack the code on this kind of thing. And because of that, their only answer is to suppress it. It's actually kind of insane how often we're seeing some of these viral indie hits run straight into some form of cold corporate or bureaucratic resistance, whether it's from platform policies, rating boards, legal ambiguity, or flat out attempts to suppress or discredit them. There is a growing pattern here. A developer releases something fresh and unexpected, it takes off, and suddenly they're in the crosshairs. Not because they did anything wrong, but because they succeeded outside of the system. When you take a moment to look at the legal and bureaucratic
Then you start getting companies coming out saying, no, these are anomalies. This is an anomaly, like with Baldur's Gate 3. No, it's too good. Don't expect this to be the baseline. It's too good. It's an anomaly. You fucking losers. Make good games.
minefield that these indie developers have to tiptoe around just to be able to release a game, it's genuinely surprising that we ever see anything original at all. The modern gaming landscape isn't built to encourage creativity. It's structured to protect existing power, intellectual property, and investor interests.
We don't want that.
In some ways, the system is designed to suffocate innovation unless it's coming from an approved source. I mean, Balatro
Fucking true. Fucking true. I haven't ever looked at it like that. But it's true. Yeah.
got slammed by ratings boards for supposedly promoting gambling just because it used poker hands in a scoring system despite no real gambling mechanics being in the game whatsoever.
See, that's all they can do. It's such a good game, so they slander it.
World came under fire for copying Pokemon, even though the gameplay is wildly different because Nintendo's patent net is so wide that even breathing now seems like it's lawsuit worthy. I mean, while in litigation with Pocket Pair, Nintendo is still trying to file new patents to retroactively catch them on.
Fucking hell. And that's the shitty thing with Nintendo, because it's like they made these patents after the success of Power World. How fucking petty. And as the man just said now, Legendary Drops, he just said they're still making patents now to try and block them while they're in a court case with them. This is what we're dealing with. Fucking pure corporation bullshit.
It's reaching a point where making a game that even feels familiar or is using visual shorthand that players understand can get you pulled from storefronts and buried in lawsuits. Now we have Schedule 1 going through the same mess, originally reported on by Andrew Heighton of Insider Gaming in an article titled Schedule 1 being investigated for IP copyright infringement claims. They write, evidence on the investigation surfaced on a website, Pab Business, featuring a document entitled Movie Games SA 17-2025, Decision to Commence Investigation Against the Creators of Schedule 1 Production for claims regarding the infringement of the issuer's IP and related to committing an act of unfair competition against it. Movie Games SA has its...
The fuck does that mean? Let's ban that. What does that mean?
Own series of drug dealing games, Drug Dealer Simulator 1 and Drug Dealer Simulator 2. While the name is more overt than its goal, both titles have attracted thousands of players respectively. The legal document mentions potential infringement of the issuer's intellectual property rights and activities that bear characteristics of unfair competition have been identified. Ergo, Schedule 1 is too similar to the Drug Dealer Simulator series. Proceedings began as soon as Schedule 1 released on March 24th and featured a comparative analysis of the IP, which includes Drug Dealer Simulator and Drug Dealer Simulator 2 and the Schedule 1 project. The investigation is strongly looking into elements of the game's plot, mechanics, as well as UI user interface.
I saw a thing though. I saw a thing where the developers of Drug Dealer Simulator come out and said, "No, we're not doing that," or something like that, and they congratulated the success of Schedule 1.
Interface. It finishes by saying, the issuer will immediately inform about further actions related to the pursuit of claims regarding the infringement of the issuer's IP and the act of unfair competition in subsequent current reports. Yeah, I'm going to take a wild guess here and say the unfair competition they're referring to is the part where Drug Dealer Simulator 1 and 2
cooked
combined couldn't even crack 20,000 players, while Schedule 1 is one of the most talked about and played games on Steam right now. At least with Nintendo and Pal World, you could kind of see where that lawsuit was coming from. The creature designs, the ball throwing mechanics, they were all surface level elements that were echoing Pokemon. Even with Temtem, they got out of the way of Nintendo by making sure they were using cards instead of balls. But this investigation against Schedule 1 feels completely out of pocket. It's not just a stretch, it's embarrassing that they're even trying. I've taken the time to check it out, and Schedule 1 doesn't really share anything structurally significant with their games whatsoever. The crafting, the progression loops, the interface, the tone, it's all completely different. To be honest, Ubisoft has a stronger claim against them ripping off a Far Cry than they do against Schedule 1. In their games, you start off as a low-level pusher working for somebody else and slowly build out your own operation. It leans way harder into weighing.
It's a decent game. Drug Dealer Simulator is a decent game, but Schedule 1's better.
Product, micromanaging dead drops, dodging rival gangs, and ferrying shipments across different islands. It's less of a game and more of a chore simulator. Sure, they both have similar themes, but if having drugs as your premise is going to be the trigger for legal...
Right? So what sort of bullshit is that?
Action. By that logic, are they going to go after Breaking Bad next? After news of the investigation broke, media outlets jumped the gun and ran with headlines saying that Schedule 1 was facing an active lawsuit. The internet then did what it does best. Players flooded Drug Dealer Simulator 1 and 2 with negative reviews,
They cooked it.
dragging the game into a storm that they weren't ready for. In response to this, the developers posted a statement on Steam clarifying the situation.
Yeah, I saw this.
To paraphrase a little bit, they're saying that there is no lawsuit, that they're not trying to shut down Schedule 1, and the investigation was only launched after repeated comparisons between the two games raised concerns. Since Movie Games SA is a publicly traded company, they claim that they are legally obligated to investigate potential infringement and disclose it through proper stock market channels, ESPI. The media then picked it up from there, and the story spiraled
And
out
ran
of
with it.
control. They
See, it's the media again running out of fucking ideas on what to fucking do. So they just run with anything without fucking doing their due diligence. What journalists are these? What workers are these? Shitters, that's what they are.
also then clarified, saying that the developer of Drug Dealer Simulator, Byte Runners, isn't involved at all. It's strictly a
It's not even
publisher
involved.
level decision. The post then closes with them insisting that there is no bad blood and that they even sent Schedule 1's developer best wishes before the game blew up. But whether it's legal obligation or damage control, it's clear that this isn't the kind of attention that they were expecting. And this is where things get really weird for me, because there was a second response, and this time it was from the actual developers at Byte Runners, where I think the first response was actually written by their publisher, and it's kind of a plot
1,070 on one deal. My guy's got the secret product.
twist. In a statement that they posted on Twitter, Rafal, the CEO and developer of the Drug Dealer Simulator series, basically said, "We had no idea that this was happening." According to him, the development team wasn't informed of the investigation at all, and they only found out when the story blew up online, claiming that they were just as blindsided as everyone else. He writes, "In light of the recent Movie Games versus Schedule 1 legal investigation controversy, I would like to state that we, Byte Runners, the development studio behind Drug Dealer Simulator series, do not have any ill intentions towards neither Schedule 1, TVGS, or the game community.
See?
Actions taken by our publisher, Movie Games SA, are a part of an internal policy and business interest, which we have no influence over. We were not informed of their plans and were also surprised by this course of action. We are currently in talks with Movie Games on this matter. For now,
Alright.
we do not want to publicly neither condone nor approve of the actions before these talks
What the fuck does that mean? For now, we don't want to publicly neither condone nor approve the actions before these talks. What?
have come to any conclusions." I think basically this dude is saying we don't know if it's good or bad for us yet, so we need to wait to figure it out.
True,
We would
yeah.
like to ask everyone on both DDS and Schedule 1 communities to be patient and not spread unnecessary negativity or misinformation. We congratulate the success of Schedule 1 to TVGS and would like every gamer to enjoy and support any game they choose. Our main
True.
focus as the dev team is improving the DDS IP, which also includes learning on the Schedule 1 massive success and its and our community feedback on it. Always
That's beautiful. That's a great thing to say. I think, see, there you go. You can see it from the developers. Developers have got no bad blood. Publishers and fucking the media are the ones that love stirring shit up, aren't they? We're starting to see that.
we ask for now is your understanding.
Yeah,
The tone here
you got
couldn't
it.
be any more different from the original Steam post, where the publisher had framed the investigation as a necessary legal procedure. The developer comes off as almost embarrassed by the entire thing.
100%, yeah. Yeah.
Then they go out of their way to distance themselves from the publisher's actions, saying that they don't condone or approve of anything yet? What
Huh?
does that even mean?
What does that
and now they're just
mean?
waiting for internal talks? I'm just going to go with my gut here and say they didn't expect the backlash to be this bad.
Yeah.
There is no chance. There is no way that you are going to convince me that your publisher, without any communication, suddenly launched a legal investigation on your behalf using your game as a basis without you knowing anything
Come on, man. They would have said something, surely. It's not a good look. Isn't it?
about it. That is not how legal prep works. To even begin an investigation like this, you need access to build files, source assets, system documentation, something from the development team to be able to make the comparisons necessary for a legitimate IP case.
Yeah.
So either you were involved, and
Yeah, there's probably someone in there, in DDS's team that complained about the success. Somehow, some way of schedule. Maybe, I don't know.
and now you're walking it back, or your publisher went rogue and dragged you into a legal case without any warning and snuck into your office and stole the files. Neither one of those look very good. And even if for whatever reason Byte Runners wasn't involved in this decision, I'm sorry, this is what comes with the territory when you sign up with a publisher. Tyler didn't. He developed and published Schedule 1 himself. Every decision he makes, every success or controversy, it's all on him. But once you hand over the reins to a publisher, you are also signing up for all of their baggage, the legal departments, the investor meetings, risk management, the corporate damage control. You don't get to opt out when it gets uncomfortable. And the claim that the investigation was already in motion before the game took off, total bullshit. The investigation was formally initiated on April 3rd. Schedule 1 launched on March 24th. And by the 30th, it had already hit over 400,000 concurrent players.
Crazy.
This wasn't some long-planned legal strategy. Otherwise, why would you guys have sent them a congratulations email? It was a knee-jerk response to getting blown out of the water.
Facts.
I don't know about you guys, but from where I'm sitting, this looks like a textbook case of a publisher, and more likely their board of directors and shareholders panicking over the fact that the game that they backed didn't deliver, while a solo developer just ate their lunch in broad daylight. So now they're trying to claw back some relevance and revenue through legal pressure instead of actually trying to make games that people want to play. It's all retaliatory. It's all bitter, and it reeks of a system that sees creativity as not something to nurture, but something to control. Now, I actually posted this in a response.
Yeah, he's 100% spot on with that.
It's on Twitter to the Byte Runner CEO's letter to the players. But I basically
What did it say?
said, yeah, this must suck to be completely powerless in this situation, but this is exactly what you signed up for. And honestly, the more that I think about it, this probably explains why so many of these self-published indie games are blowing up, while these smaller studios tied to these tiny publishers are scraping by. Creative freedom, no bureaucracy, no boardroom full of guys in suits that are second-guessing your every move, just a developer and an idea. And honestly, that's probably the conversation that we really need to be having here, because this isn't just about one game or one legal spat. There needs to be a bigger push towards independence in video game development. Too many of these publishers aren't interested in creating anything. They don't build worlds. They don't design mechanics. They don't tell stories. What they do is manage. And in that management, they influence the industry more than they contribute to it. Their primary goal isn't to support creativity. It's to control outcomes. They want to shape trends, shape players.
100%. He's 100% spot on. And it's a fucking shit thing to see, innit?
Shape spending habits. And when they fund something, that comes with strings attached. Strings that always pull in the direction of risk aversion or maximizing profits. Sure, publishers offer funding and infrastructure. They offer visibility, marketing pipelines, access to networks, but it comes at the cost of freedom, a voice, of innovation. How many times have we heard stories about developers that were pressured into adding in microtransactions that they didn't want to put into their game?
Yeah, why would you do it? Terrible. You signed up with a publisher though, so you're fucked now.
Or how many times have we heard about games that were forced to pivot towards live service even when that didn't fit their vision? These decisions rarely come from the development team themselves. They come from people upstairs, people staring at spreadsheets, not playtests, people who see creativity as a variable that needs to be managed, not a driving force. From my perspective, in many ways, publishers have become the industrialists of this medium. They're more concerned with scalability and litigation than actually making games themselves. They commodify everything about the creative process. They strip out the rough edges, the weird ideas, the risk, and replace them with something that fits into their monetization model of the moment. And then
yeah, that's exactly right.
They sit back wondering why none of these games are resonating, why they're failing to meet
They're
their
all
sales
failing.
targets. It's not the players that are the problem. It's not the developers that are the problem. It's the layer that's in between, the suits that are trying to systemize everything that's not meant to be a system in the first place. And the more games that we see, like Schedule 1, that are succeeding without them, the more obvious that becomes. You know, I think a lot of these publishers and executives that are running these companies are the biggest barrier to creativity and success for the vast majority of these developers. They don't outright build anything themselves. They just go out of their way to try to control it or squash it if it threatens their margins in any way. And that sucks. Not just for us, the players, but also for the people that are making these games. I mean, like, patent laws in general in the video game ecosystem just don't make any sense whatsoever. All these layers of red tape for something that just shouldn't be there in the first place. Even if a developer isn't trying to copy something, they're just gonna ignore it or try not to be anything like it just out of the implicit threat that comes from legal action. They just stay away from it. That's why we sit back and wonder why we haven't seen a game like this again, or that, or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
You know, in theory, publishers are supposed to be there to be able to make things easier for developers. They're supposed to be able to take care of all the noise, and then developers just focus on doing what
Making
they
the
do
game.
best.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's meant to be. That's the ideal plan. That's the pattern. But it's seeming to be is something else now.
Making video games, and that's about it. But the minute that you start handing over all of that power, all of a sudden you find out that you don't really get to make a whole lot of decisions on your own anymore.
Yeah.
That's what's happened to some of these people. When you get in bed with these guys, this is the end result of that. They go out and attack your competition. How does that feel? I can't imagine that feels
That's
very
bad.
good. These
They must be thinking this is embarrassing.
guys are creatives. They want to make games. They want other people to be inspired by their work and make games of their own. And now you have to sit back and watch what happens. I'm sorry, man, but you're not innocent in that. And, you know, we feel the effects of it, too, without a doubt. We still get some great games, but at the exact same time, I mean, I've had a really weird feeling that things have just kind of felt samey for a really long time.
100%.
Very samey, very safe in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from the fact that, you know, if any game tries to make a game like Pokemon,
Yeah.
they're going to
shut
get
'em
scared
down.
away, or they're going to get sued into oblivion.
Yeah.
So many mechanics. I mean, look at the way that Nintendo has litigated and patented just about everything. Sony's been doing the same thing. Look at WB Games and the
Bastards.
Nemesis system. Something that would revolutionize RPGs,
Yeah.
and we'll never see it.
Yeah, they want the Nemesis system of the Shadow of Mordor and all of that. Yeah, they've patented that, so no other game can use it. That's not innovation. That's gatekeeping.
Ever. There's such a poison to this industry. It's
It's true.
insane.
Yeah, he's right.
And you look around and notice almost every single one of these breakout hits have always been self-published. And in some cases where these developers did go through a publisher, the only reason they did that was to be able to protect their identity. There needs to be more options for that. That needs to be nurtured and taken care of.
100%.
There needs to be more developers that are making games themselves, publishing games themselves, and there needs to be an easier way for these guys to get onto platforms without the need of a publisher.
That's
There
right.
needs- There's already ways
Shout
for
out
them.
to
You
Steam,
don't even
man.
need publishers anymore. Sure, for like legal and patent and stuff like that, hire a lawyer, man. Why are you handing away all of your profit, all of your control to a bunch of people that don't want to have anything to do with the creative process whatsoever? It
Yeah.
just doesn't make any sense. You can promote your games online with no problem. Balatro had next to no marketing whatsoever. Schedule 1 had next to no marketing whatsoever. Valheim had no marketing whatsoever. There's so many more examples that I could give of games that never had an ad or a commercial or anything like that. They were just on Steam. People played it. People liked it. Spread by word of mouth.
Yeah.
Fair price, good game. People go buy it
Yeah.
as far as it needs to go.
That's it.
That's what needs to happen. We need more of it. And I want
Yeah,
that to be a
it's
big
happening.
focus. I think Steam is the leader in that.
100% is providing a place where they can bypass the publisher.
Steam's definitely the one that's been pushing and helping a lot of these indie developers be able to find
Yeah.
their legs in the industry. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
That's
I
beautiful.
think everybody does.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of games that we would have never had if it wasn't for
100%.
Steam.
100%.
No. Thank God for Gavin.
Yeah, mate.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, like the
He's
video,
right.
subscribe to the channel, comment down below, share the video to your friends, share it on social media. Come watch me on Twitch. Come
Great
join the
video.
Discord. Come hang out. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay
Give
safe.
it a like.
I'll catch you next one.
Always. I'm a sub. Great video, and he's spot on with everything he's saying there. I'd agree with everything he said there. He's right about the industry, and it needs a little shake up. It needs a little shake up, for sure. A guy who builds a nice chair doesn't owe money to everyone whoever has built a chair. Exactly.